Big congrats to WA's Jack Della Maddalena, who won a UFC world title on the weekend. Undisputed champion. But if you want a real cage fight, it's coming tomorrow when the Liberals elect a new leader. In the blue corner, we have Shadow Treasurer and Baron of the Burner account. Well done, Angus Taylor.
Australia needs a strong Liberal Party, and today I'm stepping up. I'm announcing my candidacy for the leadership of the Liberal Party.
And in the other blue corner, all the way from her investment property on the Gold Coast, Deputy Liberal Leader Susan Lee.
I will be putting myself forward for the position of Leader of the Federal Party.
These two aren't just fighting for the leadership. The very heart of the Liberal Party is at stake because running with Angus Taylor is Senator Jacinta Price, just days after she defected from the Nationals party room.
I've had the pleasure of, having you as a mentor so far.
Who can forget Jacinta Price saying this during the election campaign?
That we can make Australia great again.
The firebrand senator is essentially the face of Trump politics in the coalition. So electing her to deputy leader is effectively lurching the party even further to the right. Or, this is how she put it in a statement. We must once more remember and fight for the forgotten people, those on whose shoulders Australian society has been built and still depends. These are the mainstream Australians who have a big contribution to make. Forgotten people? Are they any relation to all those quiet people?
And we're going to do it with the support, I think, of many quiet Australians.
If the election taught us anything, it's that the Liberal Party needs to forget about the fictitious forgotten people and worry more about the very real people in Middle Australia who turned off the Liberal brand in droves.
I intend to recommend to the Governor-General, Her Excellency Sam Mostyn, the following makeup.
To the victor go the spoils, and today we saw those spoils handed out in the form of ministerial portfolios from PM Anthony Albanese. Joining me now is Federal Politics editor Katina Curtis. Katina, what jumped out at you about the PM's portfolio carve-up today?
Hi, Ben. I think it's probably fair to say that this is continuity with change, to borrow a phrase. Look, he's had probably about 2/3 of the cabinet is unchanged, in their portfolios, but there definitely are a few key jobs that have shifted. Michelle Rowland, who was the communications minister, she'll now be the Attorney General. So that's a pretty big step up for her. It's a fairly senior role. There was a lot of speculation over the last couple of days looking at everyone's bios and remembering who were the actual lawyers in cabinet, because it usually considered that you have to have been a lawyer to be AG. The big one that people have been watching out for was what happened to Tanya Plibersek, who was obviously Environment Minister. She's been shifted into the social services portfolio. Now, this will actually put her in charge of some areas that she has had a long interest in. So she will be overseeing the domestic violence response and some of that work. So that will be an interesting shift for her.
My name is Tara Inoka. I'm 32. I've got 4 kids and I was diagnosed with breast cancer a month ago.
That was aspiring boxer Tara Inoka posting a GoFundMe campaign in 2021 that raised nearly $37,000. The only problem? She didn't have cancer. Now she was in court today pleading guilty to charges of possession of stolen property. Court reporter Sarah Steger was covering the case. Sarah, can you catch us up on what has happened in the trial so far?
Yeah, so Tara Inoka was charged with fraud back in June 2024 following a police investigation into a fundraiser on GoFundMe from 3 years earlier. And essentially that online appeal, she claimed she'd been diagnosed with rare breast and cervical cancer, and she was asking for money to help with her medical treatment. At the time of her arrest, police alleged that more than 500 people had actually donated to that cause, totaling just over $36,000, like you said. And those funds were later transferred to Tara's bank account, her personal one. A few months after her arrest, she pleaded not guilty to fraud. But later, in the background, with some negotiations with police prosecutors, her fraud charge was downgraded to a possession of stolen property offence, and she's pleaded guilty to that back in January.
And so what has happened in court today?
So essentially today, she was meant to be sentenced for that lesser charge of possessing stolen property. And that offence actually carries a maximum of 2 years in prison, something that she was reminded of by Magistrate Johnston today in court in quite a stern warning. And that caution was a result of an attempt, or a request, I should say, by her and her lawyer to have the sentencing postponed. She was meant to be sentenced today, but because she claims, despite trying, she's not sure how to pay back the money to GoFundMe. And so because of that, she's asking to have the matter postponed. And the magistrate did issue a clear directive and a bit of a stern criticism, pointing out that the forfeiture notice had been made 2 months earlier. So something should have happened in that time. Magistrate Johnston did say, okay, let's postpone the matter until August. That'll give Inoka enough time to try and repay the money to GoFundMe, who has already reimbursed all the individual donors.